we got more, and this one I'm mildly dubious of, but Immanuel's calling from Nevada, no pronouns given, and says just because we deny gods of some religions, that doesn't mean God doesn't exist. Immanuel, did Durante or I ever say that we believe that gods don't exist just because we deny gods from religions?
No.
Then why
I
are you
was more
calling in to tell
thinking,
us something that we've never said and don't believe?
so by calling, you call yourself atheist, so that's more where you've said it in your title.
No, no, no. I'm
Like
saying
what?
no, no, no. Emmanuel, we the fact that somebody doesn't believe in God is independent from the reason why they don't believe in God.
Mhm.
And that's also independent from whether or not a God exists. So atheists are people who are not convinced that a God exists or who may be convinced that no gods exist. But that doesn't tell you why they believe that. And in no version of this does any atheist, you might find some lunatic out there somewhere, but none of us that are in here acting on this, none of us say that because we don't believe in God, that means God doesn't exist. If we knew that God didn't exist and it was because we didn't believe in him, and that wasn't fallacious, which it absolutely is, why would we be doing a show? We understand that merely our disbelief does not mean that God doesn't exist. We just want people to demonstrate that he does.
Right. So I like the way you said that, but I guess my point is why then l- go atheist? Why not call yourself agnostic or
Because
because
theism, because no, no, listen, because theism is the position of accepting that the claim some God exists, and atheism is the position of rejecting the claim some God exists. Agnosticism and Gnosticism address knowledge. That's what it means. So you could be a theist, someone who believes some God exists, and then you could claim to be a Gnostic theist, in which case you're claiming you know that a God exists. Knowledge is a subset of belief. This is a question about belief. And so when somebody says, do you believe that there's a God? Gnosticism and agnosticism are relevant. Agnosticism is not a middle ground between theism and atheism. There is no middle ground between I am convinced and I am not convinced.
okay, so you're saying atheism to you is really I am not convinced that God exists, but I'm open to that it's possible. Would that
No,
is that fair?
I'm saying that atheism is either I am unconvinced that a God exists, or I am convinced that no gods exist. But in both of those cases, whether or not somebody's open is a completely separate question. So
Absolutely.
atheism, at its minimal point, is people who aren't an atheist is anyone who's not convinced that a God exists. Whether or not they're open is a separate question.
Okay, so you're open. So you're an atheist that believes that sees no evidence that God exists, but is open to being convinced.
Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. I guess I'll just say I appreciate that. I actually these conversations are to me godly. I know you'll disagree with me, but I see you guys as people that are actually searching for the truth for real because you're not taking any word. And so, if anything, I see it as a search for God because that's what this conversation is. And in the same way that science keeps searching, it's a belief that there's going to be more out there. But so, in a way, where I would say for myself, I'm searching for God. Can I? I don't know if would I say. Can I ask
So
you if
are you
you are
convinced
before
there's
I
a
go?
God? I'm sorry. Are you saying you're convinced there's a God or you're not convinced?
No, I'm convinced that the search for God is real. That's
Well,
how I
it
would
says
say
here
it.
it on the call screener, it lists you as a theist, which is someone who believes that a God exists. And you're saying you're not a theist. You just believe that the
I
search is real.
Yes, I told the guy that answered that I was agnostic that leans theistically because and that's
Okay.
my
Why?
explanation for that is because the search for God. I think the search for God is maybe what God is in some way.
Okay, that
So
that's
it is
just silly.
real for me.
That's
Why?
just
Yeah,
silly.
no,
Because so we have concepts already. This is like the people who say that I think God is the universe. I already have a word for the universe. It's universe. I
Yep.
don't need another word. So if the
Yep.
word God doesn't add anything edifying or useful to the word universe, similarly, whatever you're searching for, if you think that the search is God, well, congratulations, you found it. Quit searching.
Yeah,
But
but
the
Matt,
search for God,
but Matt, you would say the same.
the search for God doesn't fit any. The search for God isn't a thinking agent. It is not a creator of the universe. It is not a sustainer of the universe. It is not functionally identical to any God from any proposed religion ever. And so now, when you said that you think the search for God may be God, you are redefining God into something completely different from anything we've ever discussed before. What's your justification for that?
So I would like my justification. I would like to explain myself is that the people that discovered what the discovery is, it doesn't exist before it's discovered. So the discoverer that I think it was Columbus that discovered America, it was the search
Oh,
for
buddy.
that didn't. No, no, hear me out. Meaning the search, science does the same thing. When we're looking for something, we can only find it through
Emmanuel,
going
was
for
the search
yeah.
for America, Emmanuel, was the search for America, America?
Yes, in a way, I'm
No,
arguing that it
it
was.
wasn't.
Oh
No, it wasn't.
no.
The search was not
Philosophically,
Yikes.
no,
philosophically,
Emmanuel.
philosophically,
Emmanuel.
I,
Emmanuel, stop.
What is
retrospectively.
Emmanuel,
Okay, go
stop.
ahead.
The search for America isn't America. The map is not the place. And definitely the search for the place is not the place. That's a category error of epic fucking
I
proportions.
agree.
You can't just go
I
around
agree
redefining
semantically.
everything in some willy nilly, ambiguous, nonsensical notion. No, the search for
No,
America was not America. Stop saying things like that.
okay. I'm saying I'm to clarify. I agree with everything you said. I'm retrospectively, America did not exist in the minds of the people that were searching for more before they discovered it. But if without the search, it would have never been found. So I'm
Oh my
philosophically,
fucking God.
I'm saying,
Oh
no,
goodness.
come on, it's a
Well,
good
see, you got to get the
argument.
history,
Listen,
No,
bro.
it's a
You can't be
shit
getting the
argument. It
history
is an
wrong.
absolute shit
it's a
argument. But I'm
good
gonna let
Doing
Durante
that.
argument.
explain why.
Yes. Okay, you can't be getting the history wrong in your argument. Number one, he wasn't looking for America; he was looking for India, a trade route to India. This is the big mistake that you're making right
That's not
here.
my
Okay, and
point.
number two,
Not my
but
point.
no, but
Here, hang on.
well,
I'm going
here's
to
the
mute
thing.
you, Emmanuel, so you don't rudely talk over my guest.
Oh,
Go
Emmanuel.
ahead.
And then the second thing is discovery. Okay, you're saying, oh, no one would have ever known it. Like, bro, we've gone through this. Other people knew it. And I'm not just talking about natives. So many people had come to this place. Read a history book. But let's go here again. It's kind of like what Matt is saying. You're doing a lot of philosophical mumbo jumbo here, and you're trying to tie into this idea they found America. And in the same way, we're going to find God. But the problem that overlooks is that America did not exist. America is a societal construct that was created by the people. And so your analysis, your analogy, your metaphor, your simile, whatever you want to call it, it fails on that premise alone. When they got here, they didn't fall into a land of milk and honey where everything just opened up for them. No, what has become America is the work of people. You see how so it's not just because they searched, they got rewarded with the Statue of Liberty in New York City and Ellis Island. That's not how that goes. You're overlooking like several decades of hard work.
I think you're missing my point because I could have used any example of
Is the search
seekers,
for the cure to
discoverers.
cancer? Is the search for the cure to cancer the cure to cancer?
That's a little different because it's
The
Oh,
answer is
now it's
no.
different.
The answer is no.
well, no, yeah, no, no.
Is the
In
search for love love? No. The search for a thing
that,
is not identical to the thing. This is a law of identity. Please stop
but
engaging in navel gazing sophistry bullshit and speak plainly about what is and
you're
what
missing my
isn't, or
point.
I will end this
You,
call in a heartbeat. The search for
I
something
feel
is not the something. So,
I feel like you're missing my point. I'm going to re-clarify the fact that we
Mm,
are. we are all spending this time, even this conversation itself, discussing. We're not doing this with something, a random thing. Through time. The fact that we're discussing this is existence of it itself. And my
Oh
point is,
no.
No. It's not, and I've muted you. The conversations that we have on this show are not proof that the subject of the conversation is real. That is an epistemological failure. It is a reasoning failure. It is a logic failure. It is fractally wrong. You are wrong at every conceivable resolution. You have bought into so much sophistry and navel-gazing bullshit that you are confusing what is with the idea of what is. What if the search for God is really all we're supposed to do? Well, that might be, but the search for God still isn't God. The God thing has a category and minimal definitions. Otherwise, prove I'm not God. You can't. That's a proposition that's ultimately unfalsifiable. You have no way to prove that I'm not God. So the issue here is that you say you're agnostic with theist leanings, but what you're leaning towards is, oh, I think there's some value. I think there's a value in us actually sitting here talking about God. But you know what? Do you think Darante and I would be sitting here talking to people about God if it weren't for the fact that so many people claim that they found him?
Yep.
Can you? I don't understand the question.
Do you think that do you think that we would be sitting here talking to people about God if it weren't for the fact that they claim to have found him?
Right? No, you wouldn't.
No. We would be living our lives completely not at all concerned about fictional magical fucking beings. But we do this because there are tons of people who believe in these beings and claim they're not fictional. And so we want to give them the opportunity to demonstrate that so that we can stop being wrong and work with them towards the truth. But you know what keeps us from doing that? The fact that none of them can demonstrate their beliefs, and the fact that people like you make it easier for them by doing this absolutely mind-numbing agnostic sophistry of maybe the search is God. No, it's not.
No, I'm saying remain. I'm saying my thoughts are to remain for myself, to remain open and continue searching for if it's still being spoken about. Unless I can absolutely disprove it, I'm gonna deny everything that is not rational or is
That's a
not my
lie.
personal
That's a
experience.
lie. Are you
Uh,
spending every
Why is
waking
that a
minute looking
lie?
for Bigfoot? Are you looking for Bigfoot right now? Are you looking for the Loch Ness Monster
Well,
right now? Are you looking for
no,
chupacabras right
no.
now?
The
No.
the
So
topic of
have they been
God,
proven
the
to not be
topic of God.
real? Have they been proven to not be
Yeah,
real? No, they
okay,
have
but it's
not.
different.
No, they have not been proven. So you just said a minute ago that because God hasn't been disproven and he's still talked about, therefore you're going to keep searching for God. Well, cool. You're not, and you suggested you would do that for the other things, but you don't do that for the other things. There are plenty of things that are unfalsifiable and have not been proven false that you don't spend any time looking for.
The implications, it makes it matters. Number one, the number of people that are speaking about and claiming something, and also the implications of what would be if the Loch Ness,
No, it doesn't. No, it
whatever.
doesn't.
It's the
Emmanuel,
implications of the
Emmanuel,
God.
Emmanuel.
Yeah,
Does the number of people who believe something have any bearing on whether or not it's true or likely to be true?
no.
No. So why did you just suggest that it did?
I suggested that the fact that it's being spoken about doesn't mean it's true, but it means I'm not gonna walk away from that because
No,
it's
no,
in
no.
the
I'm
consciousness.
talking about what is. I don't give a shit what you will or won't walk away from. I don't think you're a rational actor. So what decisions you make are irrelevant. I'm just trying to expose that your decisions are in fact irrational and not accurate.
They're not. I said two things: the implications of what it means if the Godzilla is true or if God is true. They're very different implications. And my first point was that the
No,
the, the
that's
claims
irrelevant.
being
That's
made,
irrelevant.
the
That's
claims.
irrelevant. Why are you bringing up irrelevant things?
So let's go to the claims. The number of people
Okay.
making the claims. I'll stick with that. It's I think you would agree with me that if it's not
Oh,
true,
that's dangerous. I'm going to mute you real quick. I'm going to let you finish. But statistically, I would say the number of times someone said, I think you would agree with me, and they turned out to be right when they were this off base to begin with is incredibly low. But I'm going to let you try. What is it you think I would agree with?
that the number of people, the effect it's having on people believing in God is affecting us, which means if it's not true, let's get there. So that's why I think you would agree that the fact
I definitely don't agree with you because that wasn't a cogent sentence. Try again.
Meaning, okay, I'll try again. The conversation about God and the claim about God is impacting our society so strongly, impacting how we think. So that's the part I think you would agree with me that it's important for the search of God because it's also the search for the absence of God. Let's see what the final.
If the proposition is untestable and unfalsifiable, then attempting to test it is futile, and every bit of time wasted thinking about it is futile.
Mhm.
First, you need a proposition that is testable, and the God propositions that are testable have failed to demonstrate the truth of that testing, and the ones that aren't testable are irrelevant.
No, but we'll move. But then I can move to discovery, back to my argument on the way we. I don't want to go there though. But you moved the conversation. You moved it a little because we were focused on the number of people, the effect it's having on our society. And
I already addressed this. The number of people is irrelevant to whether or not the proposition is true, and irrelevant to whether or not we should be continuing to address it.
Because it's relevant to how it's affecting society, which is why you're doing what you're doing.
No, you're misunderstanding, Immanuel. God isn't relevant to society. The fact that there are people who believe in God when there isn't a good reason is affecting society. And that's the thing to address, which is why I've done this show for 20 fucking years, or a show like it.
Yep.
Okay, I hear you. I want to say, I think you were judging me in a poor way, and whatever.
I think if you go back and listen to it, you'll find that we were incredibly gracious, but your whining is noted. Thank you.
No.
Yeah. No. I mean, you had to get in one line right at the end. Good job.
Oh my.
Hey, if you liked this video, why don't you click that like button?
And if you didn't
That's
like
what
it,
you would say.
subscribe.
Okay.
You didn't even give me a chance.
There was such a long pause.
What are you on speed or
All right,
something? I barely had a
Let's
chance.
try again. Hey, I hope you liked. Hey, I hope you. Fuck. Hey there. I hope you liked that clip. Hey, I hope you liked that clipper just now. The one that you just watched with your eyes. If you did like it, why don't you click that like button?
And if you didn't like it, tell Jimmy to go fuck himself.
Hey, I hope you liked that clip right now. If you did like it, why don't you hit that like button?
And if you didn't like it, go ahead and subscribe anyway.